Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Wednesday, March 23rd, 2016, around 6:55 in the morning, Billerica, Massachusetts. Hump Day is today and Woman Quest Wednesday. I have a question on Julie Pratton, Local 6, Orlando, Florida. Anyway, it's sunny out. It's going to be sunny out, and it's going to be about 60 degrees today. Whatever snow's left over, it's now patches, will be gone. Some news to report. Washington Capitals clinched the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference of the NHL. They have the best record in the NHL, and soon they're going to get the President's Trophy, meaning they'll have home ice advantage throughout the Stanley Cup Finals. Capitals have a good team this year. They could be going to the Stanley Cup and winning it all. And it's Happy National Puppy Day. Sad news to report in politics in Canada. Former mayor of Toronto, Canada, Rob Ford, passed away at the age of 46, so prayers to his family. And Notre Dame is leaving Hockey East and to join the Big Ten Hockey League in 2017-2018. This has an opening for Quinnipiac to join Hockey East. And that's about it on the news. My first video subject of the day is the continuation of the top 50 greatest game shows of all time. Now I've reached from number 30 to number 21. And here they are. Number 30 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time singled out a dating show co-hosted by Chris Hardwick and Jenny McCarthy that lasted on MTV for 2 years. It was 50 single men and 50 single women, and funny show that made Jenny McCarthy such a star. Number 29 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time, Treasure Hunt. They had 2 runs of Treasure Hunt back in the 50s and 60s, hosted by comedian Jan Murray, which was more of a straightforward question and answers game show. When it was revived in the 70s, Chuck Barris bought the rights to it, and it was turned into a funny comedy game show hosted by Jeff Edwards, and it was always women contestants playing it, and they would pick up to 66 boxes. 1 out of 66 boxes, anything was in there. Clunks, which was worthless prizes, trips, cars, you name it, and one was $50,000, and Jeff Edwards had to memorize all of the box for the stunts. Right you are! Number 28 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time, Blockbusters, hosted by Bill Cullen, which ran 2 seasons on NBC. Then it became a big hit overseas in Europe. Then it was revived in 1987 on NBC for about 15 weeks, hosted by Bill Raftery. And it was 2 heads, better than one, produced by Goodson Todman. Was an awesome game show. It's reruns of it's on Buzzer, weekdays at 7. Number 27 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time, the $64,000 question, which was big in the late 50s on CBS, hosted by Hal Marsh. It was a big money game show, but it went off the air when the quiz show scandals happened because it was fixed. Number 26 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time, Lingo. Lingo started in 1987. It was a low-budgeted television game show produced by Ralph Andrews, hosted by Michael Reagan. And the production company went bust, but Lingo became a big-time game show overseas and in Quebec, Canada. It was revived in 2002 for GSN, hosted by Chuck Woolley. It was one of the most successful game show originals in GSN history. Chuck Woolley was awesome hosting Lingo. He says it's just not letters, it's lingo. He would sometimes say stuff on Lingo, say with the red ball, which he called stopper, just like the one on Scrabble. He would always say 2 and 2. Number 25 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time. Card Sharks. Card Sharks ran from 1978 through 1981 on NBC, hosted by Jim Perry. They revived it in 1986 with Bob Eubanks on CBS and syndication with Bill Raftery. In 2001, they revived it with Pat Bullard, but that was the worst revival of a game show ever. And Card Sharks was like predicting high-low cards, but they would have to answer a question of human nature, which was, some of them were very funny. And they had a great opening poem. Aces high, deuces low, call it right and win the show on Card Sharks. After a while, the home viewers would send in a poem, and this is kind of like a poem I'm going to say about Card Sharks. Julie Broughton, Elizabeth Hart, Molly Rosenblunt, and Amy Twinsy are queens. Bruce Cronin, Angelo, Dee Patel, and Tony Reynolds are kings. But if you get Ted Sarandos' favorite number, 8, you better well freeze on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry. Number 24 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time, Tic-Tac-Toe. Tic-Tac-Toe was in the 50s, hosted by Jack Johnson, but it was part of the quiz show scandal. It was revived in 1978, hosted by Wink Martindale, first for CBS, but it flopped on CBS, and then Wink Martindale had it to go across the country telling the stations that picked up Tic-Tac-Toe it would be a hit, and it was. They had Tom McKee play it for over 36 games, and he won over $300,000, which would be the equivalent today of well over $1 million. Number 23 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time, The Gong Show. Gong Show was a spoof of talent shows. It was hosted by Chuck Barris, and he would produce it as well. It was funny. It ran 2 seasons on NBC, and then in syndication. They had funny acts, had the Unknown Comet, and once in a while they would have do 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 do. That's Gene, that's Gene, that's dancing, that's Gene, the dancing missing. Do 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 Number 22 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time, Truth or Consequences, which was developed over the radio by Ralph Edwards. It was a game show back in the 40s. It went into television, but it didn't take off in television until 1956 when Bob Barker hosted. Truth or Consequences was a game that the host would ask a silly question that nobody could answer, and they would play some silly stunts, which was so funny. And then they would have sometimes games where there's reunions of family members, and then at the end they would have a box where the contestants could win up to $70, and they had a surprise. Once they got the surprise, it would be over. This brought Bob Barker to become a star. Number 21 on this list of the greatest television game shows of all time, Press Your Luck. Press Your Luck ran for 3 seasons on CBS, hosted by Peter Tomarken. It was a question and answers game show where the players could earn spins for the big board, which they could hit prizes, money, and the whammy. And the whammy would take all the money. Big bucks, stop! And it was great. 4 whammies would put you out of the game. Peter Tomarken would say if somebody had 2 whammies in the first round, he says, "Be careful, you gotta be careful by hitting the third whammy in round one. And that's about it on that. I'll be back later. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google Plus with 2 more video blogs. One will be about Building 19, a former discount store in Massachusetts. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about the late great former WCVB anchor, Chet Curtis. Keep calm, everybody! I'm a Julie Brennan guy. Molly Rosenblatt up WCCO rocks and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hutt so stunning, she's the best. Amy Schwenzy's awesome. Barbara Gibbs of ABC 11 has that sweet southern accent. And in the words of Jack Barry, former game show host and producer, Joker! 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 Goodbye, everybody. See you later.